Let me just reiterate what I said just a second ago about the gift. Gifts that are given by the Chinese people are oftentimes very cheap. So you can do things like this for you in your, when you bring gifts to them. They can also be something cultural to your company, to your country. And it cannot be too expensive, but it should be something interesting that they couldn't really tell is not too expensive. And also shouldn't offend in any way, which is very, very important. So a very good idea is this box of chocolates with a what's it called? A wood burning carving on the front of a bear. Perfect.
How can we understand which images, which animals, for example, are offended for them, which are not?
I would definitely research that in depth. Before I would even go purchase any gift, I would spend some time researching, like, look, how's this look, or are they going to get upset, or whatever, because it's a lot like Russia. You can't give two, but basically you can't give any even numbers all the way up. And we talked about knives, you and I, as gifts in Russia, but you told me you can give a coin, you know, like a quarter or something, just cheap. Here, take the 1 ruble or whatever, and then it's okay. With China, that wouldn't work. They would be offended. And
if you give them a knife, like a present.
Absolutely. And any kind of clock, watch, anything like this, because it means that you're going to have them killed. It literally means that their time is short. That's what it means. So it's complicated stuff. So I would research it in depth before I even bought anything. So let me see here. Here we go. I can't even believe it. So this is the new Epiphany. Scale of compromise. So we're going to discuss different scales today and different pillars of this negotiation with the Chinese. And obviously this ideas will translate to other countries as well. But primarily we're focusing on the Chinese. So the pillars of this training, again, is the trigger points, which we know what they are. China, the trigger point is respect and honor built over time. So you're kind of like filling a bottle with drops. And with Russia, it's a pride-based culture. So pride of the director who has the power in the deal. And that's with Russia. They're very opposites. They're absolutely like opposite things. They don't touch the same way. And then the other thing, a pillar of the training, is the cultural decision mapping. And we've discussed that in depth previously, where Russians are very quickly from problem to fix the problem to no problem, very quickly through the line. And the Chinese are exactly opposite in this way also. They will discuss around one point for
hours.
Could be a day. With the Gazprom situation, with that one incident with Gazprom, it was more than a day that they sat there and discussed just point one. We have a problem. Do we have a problem? They never went to how we fix. And the Russians were freaked. They were freaked out. So these are the two pillars. And now we're going to get to some deeper pillars here. Scale of compromise. Scale of compromise. So it's a scale. I showed you another scale earlier. Let me get some paper. I've been drawing this scale for a while. But this is going to bring up a lot of discussion. And hopefully you guys will put in some, what your thoughts. So I've been drawing this scale for a while. Remember the contract, scale of contract, I guess we call this. So it's 1 to 10, and where do you think? I know we've done this before. Where do you think Russians are on this scale?
Sorry, I don't understand what
This
means
is
and what 10 means.
The 10 would be the contract is extremely important. I mean, the contract is like extremely important. Hello, hello. The contract must be followed under all circumstances. Where do you think Russia falls? Well,
And what
one would mean the contract means nothing. The contract is not important.
What contracts mean for Russians?
Exactly. How important is it for? Well, or you could.
7?
Yeah, I believe it depends on the situation, but yeah.
7, 6, 7.
7.
I would agree with that. Okay, well, let's make it a 7. Where do you think it is for the Western culture?
10.
10. It's absolutely up here around 10. This is scale of contract, Slava, if you're wondering. We're actually doing some training. I came with some new facets of this training that I'm going to tell them today because they use it in their work. The facets are like these things on your stone, right? So 10, maximum, yes. If you prove to me, because again, the trigger point for the Western cultures, many of them, America, England, is responsibility. If you prove to me that I'm responsible, which is by showing me the contract, look, it says here in the contract that you will cover all costs. I can't argue with you at all. I won't even argue with you. I will pull my wallet out and give you money. I will take the bank card from the company and pay the debt. Because for my culture, America, England, Germany, 10. The contract is 10. Contract for Russia? Well, they say 7. I would have said around a 5 or 6, but you're thinking of it's growing. That's interesting. That means there's a cultural change. There's a small cultural change in Russia, bending slightly more towards contractual law. The contract is more law. Now, with China, where is their... I think it's 1. It's 1 or 2, and it's really low. Contract to them, though it's important to make the contract, more for you, it doesn't hold any power at all to them. You're not going to be able to enforce it legally. You can't do any international courts. I mean, years, and just good luck. Just forget it. Okay, really. So you can't enforce it legally. And to them, remember I told you this, that they will have fun in their head if they have one over on the white guy. If they're able to go, oh, we got over on those Russians. Good job. You did a good job getting over on those guys, those dummies. That's what they want. So, oh, you say that's in the contract. Oh, do you see a contract? I don't see a contract. So this is China with contracts. Now, the only thing that mitigates this, do you know the word mitigate? Mitigate would be lessen the damage. To make the damage less. The only thing that mitigates this is if there is a particular piece of law in the company law, not the country, nothing to do with China law, nothing to do with culture, only one thing. The company has a particular program in place that they will honor their contracts without fail, or they will make good on, and this is something you should be asking. If you were ordering, whatever you're ordering these, okay? You're ordering these, you're getting 5,000 of these coming, You should ask the question, what happens if I get the wrong product? What is your company policy if I get the wrong product? Okay? And then listen and write down what they say, because you'll use it later. Okay? On this date, you told me that you would replace... Remember the guy, I told you the story, the guy who ordered shoes for his shoe stores? And he had delivered one time a whole container of shoes that were in pieces. Like the sole, the laces, the top of the shoe. What the hell? What are you going to do with this? And he said, well, I got the pieces. And they said, well, we sent you shoes. And he said, well, these are not shoes. What am I supposed to do? And they go, whoa. We sent you shoes. There was no avenue to correct the problem. Do you understand? They didn't check. He didn't check before. Because he just... And you know this. Even Russia does this some, which we're going to talk about some today, where you get the quality here, and then over time the quality just goes down, right? So that's what's happening. They're playing with you. They're checking. How bad can we make it? Can we? 50% of the order could be bad. Will they accept that? 50% of the microchips that you order are trash. Does your company yell? That's what they're asking themselves, right? So
will it help if in that situation you say, when we spoke about this product, you said that you will change if it's bad.
Yes, you should absolutely have their words, and if you can, get some sort of remember the
What's
contract.
the difference between contract and their words? If
their
their words are printed in contract.
Very good question. Filling the bottle. Drops of respect and honor. So, when they tell you that, well, of course, we have a company policy that we always make good on our deals, and we want our customers to be happy. Drop. Okay? Then you take those drops and dump it on them later. You fill it and dump it. You say, look, you told me on this date that that we respect and honor each other, and that you always want us to be happy with you, and we want to continue business. You have built this, if you have built it. You have filled it with drops of respect and honor. If you haven't, then it's not going to do any good. But when they tell you, we have a company policy that will allow us to replace defective things or whatever, we want you to be correct. We want to follow. Sometimes they'll say, we want to follow the contract. We have a company policy. Our director has said that we will follow Western contracts. That's a company policy. Good, you throw it back at them, right? With respect and honor, but you do it. You say, look, on this date you told me this. Remember, without emotion. You're not supposed to get emotional at all. Not even Russians will get emotional. No emotion. You just put it on the table. On this date you told me. This is what you said to me. And hopefully you have filled this with respect and honor. Okay? That's about the scale of contracts. So, do you see the difference? The paper means nothing to them. It's not going to sway them. The paper, we lost it. What? We don't see any contract. Do you see a contract? We don't see a contract. India is very much the same. Okay? But the company policy, company law, and respect and honor is the way to get it honored. The way to get it fixed. Okay? So that's your contract scale. Scale of contract importance. Now, we're going with scale of compromise. How likely is the culture to compromise on a particular item? Same idea, 1 through 10. This is very interesting. It's brand new. Brand new pillar of the training. So we've done trigger points, cultural decision mapping, scale of contract, and now scale of compromise. How likely do you think Russians are, and this is very interesting, in a deal, in a business deal, for right now, you and I will be Russians, okay? You will be Chinese, just for fun. How likely is it for us to compromise with you?
What do you mean by
As a Russian, I mean, you can put yourself in the Russian head, but I'm just trying to make it like two sides of the table. So right now you're thinking about Russians. So you guys are Russians, we'll be Chinese. As a Russian man, how likely is it for you to compromise? Okay, for example, One of the things I train is to prepare for the meeting. You must. You cannot go in there blind and think, I will make a deal with them today. This morning, I will make a deal with the Chinese people. I will make it happen. This won't work. This will actually be counter to you. It will work against you. You must sit down, take some coffee or whatever, and say, today is going to be hard. They're going to do this to me, around and around, thinking around. And during this time that you're thinking about, this is going to really be hard. I've got to calm myself. Don't put emotion on my face. I must start to build the respect and honor. During this time, you also take a piece of paper and you go, what must I have? What part of this deal must I get the product at this price? It's got to be at this price. That's got to be, I've got to have it. My company has told me I cannot spend more than that. This is number one, I've got to get it. What else must I have? Delivery, time, delivery time, deferred costs like pay next month. These which is most important, which is write the stuff down. You don't have to necessarily show them, but you're going to write it down and get it straight in your head. Now, as a Russian man,
you will compromise that the Chinese guy said, okay, you need to pay the months later.
Yes.
Okay, we can do it.
yes, you're going to. That's what I'm saying. So you have it written down. I've got to get this one. 1 and 2, I have to get. Sorry. Deal will not work unless I get 1 and 2. 3 and 4,
Maybe.
I would like them, but I could work a little there. I mean, my company could pay now if they didn't. If we had to pay now, we could pay now. But of course, we should talk about that. Don't send money until certain things have happened. You send money, it's gone. Okay. So, but anyway, so whatever 3 and 4 is, okay, these we can compromise on, and then you've got your cookies. Something that you've come up with that they want from you. Like further introduction into the Russian market. Further, we know that you're trying to grow your company in Russian market. We want to help you with this. Oh my God, you have just now painted them up one side and down the other with sugar. You have given them something that they want. It didn't cost you. It's a cookie. You want to give this to them. Okay? So, but on the compromising points, how likely do you believe Russia is to compromise?
Somebody who is ready to compromise, somebody who is no compromise.
Right. In the culture.
I'm always for compromise. I'm here, but I can say about
Okay, so you're very high compromise.
Yeah, but
if somebody is ready to give me something, I'm always ready to give.
It is about the business. For example, sometimes I want. For example, I believe some customer, and he said, "Okay, we need 10,000 pieces of this stuff, and we pay later in 2 months."
Right.
But it's against our rules. I can't get it. Maybe I want, but I can't.
You can't. So this is number 1. It would be on your list of things, and you should spend some time. Spend an hour sitting there with coffee. First of all, calming yourself, planning how hard it will be. Second, understanding that you're going to have to build the respect and honor. And then number 3, sit with a pad, a paper like this, your little notebook, and write down, okay, number 1, my company, you just told me, my company must get this. I don't have a choice. Okay, I can't compromise here. But there's always something that you can give up.
Yeah.
Packaging, okay? How many pieces in each package? What the package is made of. Delivery, maybe delivery costs. I mean, there's so many different things that you can give up. You need to have written down things that you're ready to compromise on. Okay? Now, but just in general, you've told me on the compromise scale of compromise, you are always a 10. And that could be personal personality, or it could be cultural. Now that's what we're trying to find out. As Russian men, other Russian men, how much do you want to compromise? And then later I'll tell you what I think I know about Russia, because people have told me.
Really depends on the situation, and am I need something or other person needs something from me. So if it's I don't know, some unique product, then maybe I don't even want to find any compromise if they really need it. So what for compromise in this situation?
Ooh, that's good. So I was thinking about your desire, but you're saying you're gauging their desire. That's good. That's
What you gauge?
gauging. You're putting a gauge, like a gas gauge. You're like on your car. The speedometer is a gauge. You're gauging the speed. You're gauging their desire.
Uh-huh.
You're gauging their desire. That's really good. That's interesting, and I think that might be specific to Russian and other cultures in the world. I can think of other cultures, because in my culture, no. Unless you make a practice of gauging the other person's desire and then holding back the price. Think about that. I know for a fact, in that one aspect of the scale of compromise, the Western culture, like America, England, the Finland and Sweden, these countries are not going to be looking at you and saying, how much do I think you really want this product? You really need this, don't you? You need this. I will sell this for a lot more money. You're never getting this. You have to pay me $1 million for this. Okay? We don't do that. Unless it's a personal thing that they're kind of like, we would call it sneaky or snake, right? But you're saying, now, is that cultural or you?
Oh,
This one, sneaky.
Sneaky or like a snake? Both words.
okay, but it could be the power of position. That
Yes.
if you, for example, if I'm a distributor and they are one of the most biggest distributors in Russia, and one small, I don't know, Chinese manufacturer said, okay, we need this market, and for us we have 300 another manufacturer, and we have the power position because we have a Russian market. We know about the market, we know the customers, and we hold the market.
Hold it, yes.
Yeah, and this is one of the 300 Chinese manufacturers. Of course, we said our rules. That,
You set your rules.
yeah, because we need we have 300 manufacturers, we need from ideal manufacturer should give us this and this and this, and we can choose.
I'm loving it.
But if it's 50-50, there is only one manufacturer in the world, and there is only one manufacturer distributor in Russia. Okay, we need to compromise 50-50.
I think you're talking about power play.
Yeah.
And that directly relates to the scale of compromise. If the culture is interested, is used to and likes a lot of haggling, negotiation, a lot of haggling over price, even in a market. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you could pay me this, you could pay me that, then, and you could think of cultures like this, like the Middle East, where you could buy something for $20 or you could buy something for $1. Power play. How much is needed? How much of that is in your culture is the question.
It's about business.
Yes,
Because
it's all,
it-
but
no,
it's cultural.
It's different. It's different because business is business.
no, I understand. But it's left over. It's left over from before, times before. It's in the mind. It's deep. So, how likely do you think Russia is to compromise?
I can say in the life, not in the business, in the
Yes,
private
this
life.
is good. This is good.
It's statistically, by statistic, I don't know, in 60%.
That's what I would think.
I try to have a compromise, and when some, maybe even more, because when someone say, okay, for example, I buy, I don't know, in not from the market, not from the shop, from the another people,
Right,
from,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
smartphone, for
reseller.
example. Yeah, and said, okay, he said 100, I said 50, and we said, okay,
75.
go to compromise 75.
Right.
And
Always
I,
works.
yeah,
Always
it's
works.
in 90% it's work because we understand that, okay, he come to me.
To decision.
Yeah, and it's good for others. Yeah, usually in private life, no, not 7. In 70% time, we have this good compromise. But I tend to 100 that okay, I want to go to compromise because I believe that it's not very. It's good for others because I want that all people will be happy.
Okay, and that's good. That's a distinctly, I would say, Russian idea. Okay, what I've been told about Russian culture is that you do like to compromise. But you also have, that people have said this to me, that Russians are ready to help. And especially, well, I shouldn't say that, give it away. Russians are ready to help. And if you can make a deal, you will compromise. So what percentage would you put on Russia?
7?
70%, maybe? So between a 1 to 10, you are a 70. I'll say that's pretty good. You'd like to help. Now, what we're finding in this discussion is in certain areas, certain cultures might be higher. Like
Middle East, you can decrease the price 20 times.
so price, they would be more on the scale of compromise. They would be able to. There's more compromise there. And what did we say about America just a second ago? Something about.
Is it really a compromise when you said, okay, I have
Prices.
this stuff that costs
Yes.
$1, but I'll put a price $100, and then we'll talk about
$10.
an hour, and at the end they'll pay me $10.
Right, right.
Or you could use, I think, I don't know how it's in Europe or America, but in Russia it's usually, okay, it costs about 100, so I put price 110, and
Right.
At
Right.
the end I'll sell it $5 more, or maybe at the 100.
Right, okay, I
So
see.
we have the smaller gap between the real price and.
So, what do you think for Middle East? This
Well, Middle East, and this is what we're finding about price. The Middle East, there's going to be a lot of compromising going on because they built it into the concept. They built in the compromise. They want to haggle. Okay, are they willing to actually? Are they willing to bend their? It depends on the thing. If we're talking price, I would say America does not compromise much in the price because it's not built in. You don't have to haggle. It's like we already know that it's going to be this, and we're not going to change that. It's wrong for us to change that for you and then for you. I'll sell it to him for more money than you because I like you. Not so much of that going on. There's less of that. So,
One or two for Western culture.
right, so Western culture's on price, it's going to be down here.
So is it really a compromise when you just overprice your product and then say, okay, we could less the price?
Right.
I think a compromise starts when
Just cheating.
there is some average price and you try to make it lower.
Well, this is what
And
I'm
the seller
saying.
tries to keep the price.
What
So
I'm
here starts the compromise, but not when you sell $1 thing for 100 and
You
say,
got it.
okay, take it for 50.
So,
It's
so
not
you got it.
compromise.
You got it. What we're seeing is how much haggling there is on price. So when you talk about the scale of compromise, you could talk about culturally. And what I mean by that is if you really would like something, but he would like it also, are you willing to give over? And you say Russia's about a 70%, right? I think America would be pretty high too. 80, maybe even more. We would, if we wanted to make a deal, we would be willing to give something up that we wanted. So I would say America on average compromising would be pretty high. 70, 80, somewhere in that area. But on price, it's more fixed. So that's like a 2. There's not much give. Okay? So on different items, it's the scale of compromise is different.
What about Chinese?
The Chinese don't really compromise in the same way. So what they're doing, they do, but they compromise. Let's try to put a value on what they do. So this is important. So they will eventually give you what you want, so they will compromise, but it takes a lot longer. It's a much longer time period. You must fill the bottle with drops.
So it's not fixed for Chinese.
Right.
Maybe it starts here and
It kind of moves. Yes, that's
It's not a stick.
really good. It kind of like, so when you first start to deal with the Chinese, they're not compromising. They don't want to give you anything. But if you fill, this is interesting. If you fill this, then you can kind of use this to lubricate this and make it move.
Is
You
it
know.
the same situation in other countries? I think when you first meet someone, the point is around 5. And if you have a long story, then you could say,